And I think you grieve the peace you used to have because now any little thing you're like, what was that? What's that?
Yeah, that's a big
Could
one.
this mean something? Why am I having this
Yeah.
pain?
6Ks in a mic, we're done being quiet, breaking all the rules, starting up a riot. Raw and real, no scripts to read. This is the honesty that women need.
So this is part 2 of our episode of our discussion around grief and the topic of grief and just various. I asked my sisters questions and we kind of go off and talk about the topic of grief. So I think that my question was just even the type of like grief you can experience going through cancer, and Katie had answered. So Kathy, what was your take that you or probably like the one of the biggest things? There's so much, but if you could pick something that you feel like you've grieved maybe the most or had the biggest impact.
I guess I would say like who you were before the diagnosis, if that makes sense. Because you definitely change. Your whole mindset changes. Your whole body changes. It fails you.
My therapist would say your body did not fail you. Cancer did this to you.
Well,
I like that reframe though.
Well, no, but I do get it because it's kind of like you're like, wow, you just turned on me, body. Yeah.
I get it too. I'm just saying because I had those same feelings, and that was their response to me was your body actually got you through it quite well. Cancer is what did this to you.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and
That
you
makes
still have the
sense,
joint
though.
pain. You gain weight where you never used to gain weight before. Your body totally realigns itself. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
I'm trying to get rid of it in my face.
If you
I
think you
do. I
got
feel like-
problems now, give it 10 years. It's going
I
to
feel
just
like
be
my
worse. So.
face is like puffy now.
It's not.
I
No.
don't like the way I look in pictures.
And I think you grieve the peace you used to have because now any little thing you're like, what was that? What's that?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Could this mean something? Why am I having this
Yeah.
pain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big one that people don't like understand. Like you don't, there's never rest from that. There really isn't. There might be some like where you don't necessarily always think about it, but there's never really rest from that. So
And like I go to the oncologist on the 22nd and you're always like, what's going to happen at that appointment?
I had a hard time going to doctors. Did anybody else go through that? Like, and it doesn't even have to be for cancer, but just any, like after having to go to a lot of doctors, do you feel like I've gone to so many doctor's appointments, but sometimes I just hate going to the doctor. It doesn't
Why
make
think you
any
just
sense.
get tired of it? You're like, good God, do I have to go to another doctor? So yeah, it's a little taxing.
Well, I think that, you see that a lot on these cancer accounts that people don't understand about survivorship is that, it's not like you're done. You still have, like you said, all these appointments, scans, tests, whatever. It doesn't go away.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. So another thing I was going to ask everybody, did we hear from everyone? Did I hear from? I think we heard from everybody on this. Okay. Is like, this is going to be hard, right? But if you could pick one word to describe your experience with grief or just grief in general, one word, that's going to be hard. What word would you use to describe it? And Kelly, I'm starting with you because you're looking off into the sky.
I'm thinking, like, you said the word hard, and that's what I was thinking,
Well, that's
like,
okay.
Yep.
it's shitty. It's shitty.
Okay. All right. Hard,
That's exactly
shitty.
how I felt, Kelly. When she said hard, I said, that's exactly what it is. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the older I get, I try to reframe my thoughts like, I don't know. I am not a big cemetery person where I feel like if I go to a cemetery, I'm actually visiting with that person. I don't feel that way. I feel like once you take your last breath, that your soul has gone elsewhere, and that's really just a vessel in the ground. Literally, that's all it is. So, it's like I'm more at peace with that than thinking somebody I love is laying in the ground right now, because I do think I felt that way as a kid.
Yeah.
But it still sucks, and the sense of loss is just huge.
Yeah.
So shitty. That's my word.
Good word. Good word. Anybody want to go next?
I was going to say
Man.
sucks. That's pretty close to shitty, though.
And your
Yeah.
question is, what one word would we use to describe grief or
For you.
love?
You.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I understand. I understand.
Mine is hyphenated, so I think it counts as one word. I'm going to go with earth shattering.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I
I'm
Googled
struggling.
it
I'm
to make
struggling
sure.
with my word because, gosh, when I think of the moments of when Dad died and Frank died, and those are the closest ones to me right now. It was awful. But my struggle with my word is but I found it very transformative.
For sure.
So
It's a good word. Transformative. Or no,
yes.
I shouldn't pick your word for you.
No,
Sorry.
that is. So that's why I was struggling, because in the moment it's horrifying. And but on the other side of it, I can for sure find the peace and the transformation through it. So I'm going to go with Katie, hyphen in 2 different words.
I think hard's the best word. It's just so
Okay.
hard to work through.
Okay. I don't know. Like, obviously, this is the only word, but I was thinking of heavy. And
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, so there's this one image that I saw that has stuck with me for years. It is like, I'll have to try to find it online or something, but it's like a wire person, like an outline of a person in wire, and it's filled with rocks. So like the person is like, it's like a person walking or leaning forward, but they're like full of rocks. And I just remember thinking like, that's what it feels like. 'Cause you're like, it's heavy. I don't know. So
That makes a lot of
that's my word. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, what is one thing? How about let's put a positive spin on it, if there's such a thing, right? I mean, yes, I think it's a hard topic, but what's like one positive nugget that you think you've gotten from some of the loss you've experienced in life?
Well, I definitely think you have a whole different lens, right? Every time you go through something like that. Yeah, when Chris was saying transformative, tell me more what you mean by that. Like, how do you feel that it has transformed you?
Okay, so for example, and this would probably be my answer is, when I see people now, I hug them more. When I see people now, I'm present to the conversation. I think it transforms me into being present in my daily life, because you are never guaranteed the next moment, and take advantage of that and be present to it.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Helps. Thank you.
Sure. So what's your answer?
I already gave my answer.
What was your answer?
No, your answer is supposed to be what you learned from it. Like with a positive spin on it now.
What do I learn from death?
Grief.
It doesn't have to be death. Like it could be loss in general. Because remember, when we define grief, it's not always necessarily death.
Right. Right. I mean, I agree totally that, especially when it's really close to it just happening, you're very conscious of hug everybody, kiss everybody, be in every moment. But the further you get away and the more life just takes over, it's hard sometimes to stay present in that mindset. I love the mindset, but I find I get caught up not always living in that mindset.
But it's interesting because you said then life takes over. So are you present and a participant in your life, or life just comes and sweeps you up and you are just moving through it because you have to? Like, I'm curious by what you just said.
I think it's a combination sometimes, depending on the scenario, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think Bill's
Uh-oh.
family has
Can't
learned some
hear
stuff.
Kim. Are you
She muted
muted?
herself, though.
I
It
was gonna
looks
say,
like.
well,
did.
unmute.
Yeah, sorry.
I said,
Well,
you
Kath-
definitely get caught up in going to work every day or the road things in your life, and you let those kind of drive your week sometimes, right? Because they get overwhelming. So I mean, I agree. I think it's both. You have to consciously be saying, gotta stay present.
Yes, right.
Mhm.
Kath, what were you going to say?
I've just noticed, like with Bill's family, since his brother died, and now everything that's going on with him, like his family's been coming over to see him the last few days. Never in the 30 years that we'll be married at the end of this month have I ever heard any of his brothers, anyone say, I love you or anything? And they've all been saying it.
That's awesome.
So I'm like,
That's good.
I was like, this is
Yeah.
very interesting. I think they have learned some things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a tough lesson,
awesome.
though. Like,
Yeah.
that's not, it's
Super tough lesson. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but it is interesting. Trying to think if we've heard from everybody. Kate?
And
Yeah,
I
shoot.
think as I think for me it's just that the kind of what you said, I think it each grief experience allows me to recognize what is like important or like helps what's the word
Focus.
I'm looking for, like
Focus.
refocus or like just kinds of brings to center like what matters or what's most important to me. My husband's giving me funny eyes as I say that.
Well, I don't know. It's so weird because, okay, so my brain just went to the unfortunate school shooting and the 3 kids that we lost there, and how when that event happened, for like the first month, 2 months after, people were like, we have to focus on what's really important, what's really important here. But then, like I said, you get back into the rat race of education and you get back into, the things we have to do and you lose sight of what was important because of the system of education or whatever. Is that making sense?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
it's like society.
totally.
Look at 9/11. 9/11 happened, and I feel like our
Look at
nation
COVID
was the
too.
most united, like the patriotism and the everything amongst everybody here in the United States for a long time after 9/11 was great. And then as you say, like time goes on, other things happen, and all
You
of
fall
that.
right back
Right.
in.
Right.
Yep.
Well, but
I
I
mean,
guess I
Yeah.
have a question though. Isn't there a part of that or process of that that is healthy because you're getting back to
routine.
living? And I think it's what you carry inside that kind of keeps that presence and keeps that transformation. And so like there's how long are you supposed to grieve and what's the right amount of grieving and how do you know when you're done with, all those questions that people always ask and the pressure that they put on you. And I guess I'm just wondering, isn't there a point where you move through grief enough to have your life again, if that makes sense?
Yeah, but I feel like we're not saying that you don't have your life again. I feel like we're saying you lose sight of the lesson that grief has taught you. Like, after the World Trade Center attacks, everybody loved everybody, but now look at us.
Okay, so
Like,
you
Well,
lose
and think
focus.
about COVID, those beautiful videos that went around during COVID about take the time with your family right now. Oh my God, I've been able to slow down and do things I haven't done in 20 years. And, there were some really beautiful things that went around about take time to enjoy life. And then once COVID was over, it's like people forgot about the importance of that, and now we're just back in our little rat race.
I
yeah.
don't remember
Not
being
me.
able to enjoy life during that time, but I'm glad that you did. So-
There was this one video that I really wish I would have saved because I felt like it just totally, the pollution was less, the air was fresher that we were breathing because
Yeah.
life just stopped and we could,
yeah.
and it was true.
Yeah, but
It
then
was.
everybody got sick because we had no germs and exposure.
Well, that is very
Like,
true. Yep.
yin and yang of
Yeah.
that.
We probably won't realize the full effects of like COVID for, I don't know, like many, 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 many years.
Well, and 9/11 too, like Kate said. I mean, that was huge.
Mm-hmm.
There,
Yeah.
like, there are times where I shouldn't say this because I feel like it's not true. Not that you ever want something like that to happen again, but because it brings everyone together in such a way, I feel like our nation could almost use something that's like we're so divided
Unifying.
and so
Yeah.
like just something that brought people back to remembering that we're all just humans,
Yeah,
not
for sure.
hating one another.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
not
it
Noah's
certainly
Ark
wouldn't
level.
hurt.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't know what that would look like, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay, so that brings me back to something else. So like I'm really curious, and this is sort of what piques my interest around this topic the most, and I think I hinted at this earlier, but like is how some people have gone through so much and they still find a way to like help others or come to work with a smile on their face or be there for others or whatever it is, right? So what do you think are some ways that you like positive, because we've all have our negative coping mechanisms, what do you think are some positive coping mechanisms that you've developed to sort of work through any type of loss? And I'll
So you're
start
not
first because I'm
specifically,
kind of
you're
throwing
not
this
spec-
at you. Oh, go ahead.
okay, so you're not specifically talking about death of a person. It's any kind of loss.
Yeah, I mean, grief is loss, so it could be. It doesn't. I guess my question is, how have you handled loss? Like, what are some positive things you've done to kind of help move you forward? And you talk about transformation, right? Well, what are some things that you've done that you think, you say, okay, once you get back to daily life, isn't that like good, that you're
Well,
living again?
for sure, for sure. I think that, and I'll just, for me, my example, I'll just relate it to death, because this has always comforted me and helped me to move through it, is that when Sunny Dawn Johnson is a spiritual teacher, author, psychic medium, had said to me, nobody dies before their time. And that when you're meant to go, you're going to go. And whatever way you go is not predetermined, but you're meant to go. And in a funny way, I find a lot of comfort in that, because it just helps me process the sometimes horror of it or shock of it, because I feel like there's a bigger soul agreement, if you agree with that, with something higher than yourself. And it just brings me comfort. So
Well, and
then
you
I
could
don't
argue that
spend a
about
lot of,
any.
what, Kimmy?
I was just going to say, you could say the same thing, right, about religion. I mean, it's a very similar perspective.
The afterlife.
Yeah, or
Just say,
the fact.
I don't know if I buy it. Like, I think that shitty things just happen to people sometimes. Like, I don't know. But I feel
Well,
like that, like to Kim's illusion, I feel like that is the whole concept of faith, is just having this very strong belief in something.
Something outside of complete
Right.
randomness.
Right.
yes, I guess I believe that. But me being at 62 and you being at 40, there's quite a bit of life experience and wisdom that you have to live and experience.
I would say that you just tell yourself that to make yourself feel better about it.
And that's okay. That's okay. I might have
Yeah,
said
that
that
may be
too.
true. Yeah.
I might have said that too. But I just really believe that we are so much more than our physical selves, and that it's not so preposterous to me to think that we could have a soul agreement with whatever that is up there that says, okay, at this point in time, you're done. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's so preposterous, I guess.
So I'm hearing you say that like what helps you is being open to the idea that like there's a purpose
isn't
here,
it.
and it's yeah. Well, and that this happens for a reason. That's not at all what I want to say, because that doesn't it's not it. But like
But it's
there's a
not
higher
random.
meaning to when
Yes.
people
Yes.
leave this world.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yes. Yes. Because I mean, I don't know. I mean, Katie, maybe to your point of, well, I think you just tell yourself to feel better. I just can't believe that the magnificence of the human body and who we are and our essence and our soul and our spirit would come down to that. It's just hard for me to believe that.
That's fair.
I struggled with this recently. I actually think I asked Mario. I forget what I was watching. I think it was Eric Dane's thing on Netflix, and they asked him what he thinks happens when people die, and he just said, like, I think that's just it. Like, I think we're just gone. Because like the more I was talking to my husband about this, I'm like, because like I would love to believe that there's another side and that you still can stay in touch with your loved ones, and of course, like that makes you feel better. But I'm like, but is it really, or are we just like done
Well,
in the ground?
don't you ever feel like you feel people, or you don't feel like you do? Like, do you ever feel Mario's brother? Do you ever feel like he's there with you? Do you ever catch pieces of him in your day where you're like, oh, that would be Mario's brother, or like some kind of.
I mean, sometimes, like, I feel like after Michael died, he had a thing with grasshoppers. So when I see a grasshopper, like, that makes me think of Michael. Or, when I see a cardinal, that makes me think of Dad. But does that make me really think that they're here with me? Or is that just like a, item that I have associated with them that makes me remember them?
But what if that's the whole point of them being there with you, is to remember them?
Or what if it's just a random grasshopper that makes me think of him?
I don't think you'll either convince each other that you should think the way of each
I
other.
personally am just in my own moment in my life right now of I don't know. I don't know what
sure.
there is.
And
I
that's
hear you.
fair. I mean, I think
That's
everybody
okay.
goes through those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong. Just the
Right.
question, I think it's just the question. What gets you through, or what got you through?
You
Okay.
asked about
Anybody
a
else?
coping mechanism, Care.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my husband's family has a friend who lost her child to childhood cancer. I think he was like 5 years old. And she said the only thing that got her through was the fact that she had other kids and she knew she had to show up for those other kids. So I think sometimes it depends on the situation, on what your coping mechanism is. And I think that's a case where she just threw herself back into the rat race of life. And by getting back into a routine, and she was able to begin to live again. But I mean, it's been 20 years now, and she just posted about that on Facebook, and it doesn't go away.
But
Right.
what about you, Murph? What have you found for you? I'm curious.
I have what I would identify as a coping mechanism. Routine probably gets me going again, and that's what eventually pulls me along. Does that mean I've totally processed and dealt with the feelings? I'm not going to say that, but that's what pulls me up and gets me back into the rhythm of life,
Sure. Sure.
It's that Ida rubbing off on her.
It is. Because I was lined up on the couch. I was number 3.
What about
What
you,
about,
Kim, or Kathy? Or
What'd you say?
Talking to me?
Kathy, Kim, if you have anything that gets you out of it, or
I don't know. I always turn to music.
okay.
That's my
Okay.
go-to for
Any
anything.
particular kind? Any kind of music?
Just music in general.
Well, I agree that music is a definite lift my spirits coping mechanism, no matter what the situation is.
Yeah.
What about you, Kimmy?
I think I feel like Kelly. I don't know that I have one that I'd identify. I think every situation is different, and depending on what's going on, you go at it in different ways.
I think my coping mechanism has been to find the things in those moments, no matter how small, the little things that do bring joy, just to start filling that cup back up.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
A good one for sure.
So whether it's, a mental health day from work, a day out with my kids, a workout, I think a bunch of those little small things that slowly get you to the place where, because as we've said, grief never goes away. You just sort of learn to exist with it.
Those random moments that it shows up.
They
I
suck.
hate those. I hate those.
Fuck.
Like, let
Like
me
this
tell you,
conversation. No,
like,
just
no, those Facebook memories. Oh my God, those Facebook
Oh,
memories.
yeah, those can get you.
Oh.
For sure.
Oh.
For sure.
Facebook memories, the music, like when Frank died, I had downloaded the song we used for his tribute. And so it's still on my phone. And so sometimes,
Yeah.
when he first died, I found a lot of comfort in listening to that. Now, when it comes on, I got to turn it off right away.
Hey, can I recognize that Kim said she sent a chat?
Oh,
Do we have
I
to
missed
Got to
it.
wrap it up.
Okay. Got it. All right. Okay.
Okay, wait, but that was a great thing. Okay,
What was the great thing? Oh, well, okay. I mean,
can we finish this, Kim, or
I
you
don't know
got to
what
go?
you want me to do. She's got to go. She got to wrap it up.
You got to go now.
I mean, I think
right.
she can't, she's
Yeah,
not
she
gonna
has to.
be
She has
off
a house
mute.
full of people. She's
All
not
right,
gonna be
Kim.
able to
Well, just go ahead
chit-chat.
and go. We could just close up, so because we have to do the close up in the beginning, so you could just go.
Have fun.
Okay. All right. Well, but I am
I
curious
don't even
about
remember
that,
what
though.
was my
Curious about what?
Katie
God
was
damn.
talking about the song.
Well, you were saying like
Oh.
when it comes back and like
like those random moments, those moments.
yes,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Like those random things. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think like what, like music or sometimes like being in a grocery store and like music, a certain song could come on or something.
I don't think they ever go away,
Yeah. 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 No, I don't think they
you know?
do either. I was just curious, like, what about
Music
like
is a
just
good
those
trigger.
moments? Yeah. Good and bad, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with that song, Katie, because I'll hear that song too, and it's kind of like and at the
Yeah.
same time. Like
Right.
it's both of that.
Right. Like I almost feel like that grief when it does come up in those random moments, it's like this moment to stop and reflect because as we've all said, like when you sort of get into the hubbub of life again, I think it's really easy to not, like it gives you that moment to remember whatever it is that's coming up for you and recognize it and give it its space. But there's something you can do. You just feel it and
Yeah.
then go about your
Yeah,
day.
yeah. My biggest are
Yeah.
those Facebook memories. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay.
See, I don't know as though I have found a Facebook memory like it's very much that dichotomy that Carrie has mentioned many times of joy and grief.
Uh-huh.
Like it's a good memory, but it also makes you sad.
Sure, sure. What about for you, Carrie?
Yeah. Um, I mean, I like where it comes up. Is that is that what you're
Or
asking?
how
How
it
you cope
feels
with
to you,
it.
or
Like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm like I wouldn't call it fun, but to Katie's point, I think you just gotta like let it lean into it. Um, when I was watching that documentary, that crash documentary, the one I was telling you about, I know it's yeah, it's interesting if you haven't seen it. But so the police, like they show video of the police telling the dad of the boy, and I don't know if it's his uncle or something. I'm not sure who it is, but the police are telling them that their son is dead, basically, and that their uncle is dead, so like things like that where I'm like, oh, or anytime I just know like sudden loss for me, like I know it just because like what that person's probably experiencing or that family. It's very like, oh, it kind of like takes me right back to that moment all at
sure,
once. But
sure.
then at the same time, it's so weird too how it feels like yesterday and like so long ago all at the same time. To me, that's
Hmm.
like one of the
Hmm.
craziest things as well.
Well, and maybe
Like
you
it's
can
almost
just
like time
share.
stood still, but then
Oh,
it
yeah.
then it didn't. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just to say maybe you can share how that triggered you because probably most people don't know. If you feel comfortable with
Oh,
that, or if not, you
yeah.
can say pass.
Yeah, I mean, no, I can't. I just think that could be a whole episode in itself too. Um, no, but most people who know me know that my first husband passed away in a car accident, and that is how I found out is that knock on the door at 2 a.m, sleeping, kind of out of it, not really know what's going on, home alone, two police officers walking in my living room and telling me to sit down. And it was just very like, it took me a while to work through that. PTSD is what I would call it. For the longest time, I didn't even like looking out my front door. It was just a whole thing. But it was just very, I was like, oh wow, when I watched that documentary, I'm like, okay, I didn't realize I was still sitting with some of that,
Sure,
but
sure,
of course I am,
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
of course I am. But it just, so yeah, so that was one of those moments where I was just like, geez, we're kind of like, just
it brings
takes you
it
right
back.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, and even like this whole watching, some of the interviews that I've seen and I haven't watched the whole interviews, but just the little snippets I've seen from Anderson Cooper's podcast that he's been doing. This mother who she had 3 kids and lost 2 of them in a car accident. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like just, how terrible must that be? Um, so I don't know. I just think, but yet she was, and in this video, she was like talking about how she had, she feels them. She feels her kids. Um, they're still there with her, and how blessed she was to have them for the time she did. So I just think it's fascinating that people are capable of like, I don't know, going through some really tough stuff. and just shows you the resilience of human beings, you know?
That's the word
So,
I kept thinking when you were
Well,
talking about
yeah,
that.
and that comes up so much in so many different arenas of life. Like, how can some people be so resilient and others not? And I think that's $1 million question that if you ever figure out, that's the key to a lot. Um,
well, Sheryl Sandberg wrote a book called Option B when her first husband passed away. Has anybody read it? No?
mm,
Um, and so they talk a lot about that actually. It's like it's a topic in the book. And I think they talked about like grit. There's like this
yeah,
grit that people have. And I was like thinking, I'm like, God, I feel like we're kind of gritty in our family.
Oh, of
Like,
course.
I don't know. It's interesting. And even listening to these stories, like, I didn't realize, obviously I don't know if I was alive, but I was too young to remember when Cheryl passed away. I didn't know when Aunt Ida passed away. But like, just hearing sort of like some of these things that we've all dealt with, even from a young age, I wasn't aware of that, you know?
Yeah.
So, just
you
interesting.
want to talk about resilience? Do you guys Elizabeth Smart? You know how she went through
Oh,
that
yeah.
abduction and everything, and now
Yeah.
she is married with kids. She's a bodybuilder. She's
Yeah.
finding her strength and her. That to me is just mind-boggling how she has come back from that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think, like, it comes down to it. You literally have two options. You let it destroy you, or take it for what it is and figure out what you can do to move on.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
it's
I
not
don't know
that
why.
simple.
No, but but that really, it's like when people are like, "Oh, you're so strong. How'd you get through cancer treatment?" Like, oh, it's not like you have a choice. Like, you
right.
just do it,
One step at a time.
Right.
Yep.
Like, that or probably die. Like, she'll figure it out
Well, but recognize in that statement, Katie, that some people do make that choice.
to not
Yeah.
do
People,
it.
Some
And
yeah,
people, yeah, or
yeah,
some people can't get out of bed, or some people
right,
don't get, like,
right. So
I
to
don't know.
Carrie's
You gotta,
point, I think there is a little Volker grit, for whatever reason that we all carry inside of us that is like, to your point, Katie, I'm going to face it. I'm going to do what I have to do and face it.
I don't know. I like to think I have this little fuck you spirit about me where
I was
I'm
gonna
not
say it's
gonna
like
like,
stubbornness. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like
Sure.
I'm not gonna, you're
I'm
not gonna
going out
keep
on
me
my
down.
terms. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on the podcast. So if you need to,
You could say whatever you want
you
to
know,
say. It's
put that
okay.
out, you could put that out. Um,
It's okay.
but yeah, but I do think there's like a million different avenues that you could, or different lanes you could go down talking about this topic.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe we'll touch on it again. Any final thoughts?
Well, I
I
think
just
it's
think,
been. Oh, go ahead, Kate.
no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think there's just so much more you could talk about. Like, I feel like we barely scratched the surface
Agree.
Yeah.
of like all things grief related,
And grief is with it's just with us. It's how
Mhm.
you choose to respond to it, but it's with us every day.
Yeah. I do think it's good that I do feel like there's been a little bit of a shift where it's become more acceptable to talk about it, to recognize it, he keeps giving me looks and I can't tell what he's
One
doing.
of the upsides of social media, right? Like, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
that it is helpful for people when you need to connect who might be going
It
through
is. I
something
mean, for
similar.
those who haven't listened to Anderson Cooper's podcast, it's very fascinating because, like, clearly, and he talks about how he really didn't deal with his grief of his father dying and his brother committing suicide until he got older, and like the effects that it has on him, and it's just, yeah, like it's just all very interesting.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
so far for me,
Well,
I appreciate the resiliency of human beings.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we could even too, and I think another huge topic is like the physical manifestations that come with grief,
Grief,
because there's just so many.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
God, like I wonder what it was like back in the day when, like, you didn't really have like before.
Anything.
Right, like before things
Any
existed,
support?
and like you didn't have a chance to like, someone died, but then you had to go milk the cow. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a good
I
question.
wonder what it was like back then.
The same as it is now, I think.
Yeah.
People turn to alcohol. People turn to, depending.
Or you only live till like 40,
Right.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I mean, I don't
That's
think
true.
you probably didn't live as long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for episode 2 of our discussion related to grief. If you sat in and listened to our first episode, thank you. And thanks for coming back. Hopefully, maybe you heard some stuff that resonated with you and you just wanted to hear more of the conversation.
Thanks for hanging with the sisters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the love, because every story sounds better on 6Ks and a mic.